I always say I am not really a cake person or too much of an ice cream person. I'm more of a popcorn and a large Coca-Cola type of person. That's my guilty pleasure. Hey, I'm Bella Wright, and this is my Women's Health Body Scan. I think what I love most about my body is just knowing the history that it's been through and all of the trauma I've been through and the re-strengthening. I think that it's just pretty incredible to know what my body can go through and what it can represent. When I was younger, I think the part about my body that I was most insecure about was my height. I was always really tall right away. When I was younger, always tallest in the class, taller than all the boys, and I hated that for a while, and the older I've gotten, I think the more I've embraced it, the more I'm starting to wear heels around when I can, and just trying to embrace that side of myself and see it as an advantage rather than an insecurity. My training regimen is fairly the same, the foundation of it. Year-round in the summer, it always consists of working out 5 days a week, typically 2 workouts a day. And it's always something kind of involving more the cardio side and then the strength side following up with that, whether it's a leg workout, a core workout. But we always try and implement different things and make sure we're diversifying ourselves as much as we can as an athlete, but also just as a person and keeping your mind fresh. So whether it's adding a game in there to use that as a workout, like a soccer game or ultimate frisbee, something like that, pickleball. Or for myself, I really have enjoyed getting more into Pilates this year. It's really helped kind of that deeper core strength for me. So just trying to keep it fun while still having my base there. I have a lot of, I would say, go-to meals. I personally love to cook. I would love to attend culinary school one day. It's a huge interest of mine, and I find it a great way to create for other people and bring people together. I think food is the number one thing for that, and you get to experience other cultures, and I think for me, traveling the world and getting to experience different types of foods has really broadened my palette for flavors. And for me, I'm just a big pasta gal. I love Italian food, and I'm vegan. So everything that I see, I try to make that to where I can eat it and share it with my friends and make it delicious. I've been vegan my whole life, and I love surprising people with what you can make. It's not just salads, it's not bird food. So for me, Italian food's comforting. I love to make a vegan pasta with a fresh homemade pasta sauce. I just love that, and it feels like home for me. Traveling around the world, it can get a little bit exhausting trying to figure out exactly what my body needs. So I recently bought a portable blender, and being able to throw in some alternative milk for myself with some protein powder and whatever fruits, veggies that I have, when kind of just to make that quick on the road, literally blends in less than 15 seconds, and I'm able to have a meal and make sure that I'm still fueling myself while traveling and not always eating the candy and the chips that I want to. So I love a good popcorn. I always say I am not really a cake person or too much of an ice cream person. I'm more of a popcorn and a large Coca-Cola type of person. That's my thing, the sweet and salties. That's my guilty pleasure. I've had a few injuries in my career, for sure. I've experienced some problems with my back. I've torn my ACL, and I've broken my ankle, as well as just a lot of other sprains, bruises, and rashes. So I think it's inevitable in our sport to have injuries, and I think that's something you walk in definitely kind of knowing. And when you go through them, it teaches you a lot about yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and I think that that's kind of what helps you grow through the sport, and that's how you become more mature. An injury that sticks out is my ACL. That was my first major injury. At the time, they were saying 6 to 8 months. Now it's a minimum of 8+. For me, it was 7.5 months off of snow. It's definitely scary getting back to it, but muscle memory comes back, and it's a big injury for sure. But most ski racers have done it or have done it multiple times. It's kind of our Tommy John of baseball. And other than that, I feel like I've had a lot of maybe crashes that have impacted me more mentally, and you might not see the scars from that or the bruises anymore. It sticks with you. That trauma always sticks with you, and it's something you have to go through and work towards, moving on with. I have a tattoo on my left lower ankle. It's a matching tattoo actually with my mom. We got it about 5 years ago or so, and it was something I have always wanted. She has, ever since I was a little girl, has said a long good night to me, and at the very end always said, "I love you all the way to the moon and back." And it was just ingrained in my brain. It was something we always said to each other, and it was always something special that we had. So we both got it tattooed together in French so fewer people could read it, and it was a little bit more just between us. I have sensitive skin, so I like to keep my skin routine very minimal, very clean. So for me, it's just a facial cleanser or some micellar water in the morning. And then I have a serum and some moisturizer that I put on my skin. And when I'm going out, whether anytime during day or going skiing, I make sure to put on sunscreen, but really that's kind of it. The less steps I have, the easier for me time management wise, but also better for my sensitive skin. For my hair care, I also keep it very simple. For me, I've always had really long, thick hair, and I've played around with a lot of different shampoos and conditioners, and that's really all I use, or maybe a leave-in conditioner. I currently am really liking Olaplex. That's what I've been using on my hair. But other than that, I would say a shampoo, conditioner, and try to use the least amount of heat as possible, but also I use a decent amount of heat. But when I am skiing, I try to put it in a braid as much as I can because it just kind of protects it a little bit more with the wind. But really simple hair care for me too. Being an athlete on the road for months out of the year and not seeing family for months and going hotel room to hotel room with just a suitcase can definitely be mentally draining and a little bit lonely for sure. I would say I tend to lean on those that I'm traveling with, my teammates, my coaches, and everyone that's on the road with me because they can relate, and that's definitely something I make sure to do, as well as bring things that remind me of home. I travel with my blanket from home, I travel with a candle, and I also think it's important with the busy schedule that I have for me to stay creative. Mentally, that's really important. I mentioned I love to cook for the creativity of it, and I also love to do art for the creativity aspect of that. So I bought an iPad recently and have been using the Procreate app to draw. I'm not much of a digital drawer, but it's been really fun to mess around with it and just something new to learn and kind of keep diversifying myself while I'm on the road. A mantra or something that more recently that I've lived by is give 'em hell's bells. My family was always into rock, and there was a ski racer, Hermann Maier, he's Austrian, and he used to go down the course and hell's bells would play AC/DC. And so it became kind of something I looked up to while watching him ski race, but also it was a play on my name and tied in with my childhood and my family really well. But I also think the meaning behind it is a little bit deeper. It's more my style of skiing. It's how I charge a course, and I tend to be pretty fearless with it. And that's kind of just my mantra, is just going out and giving it 100% so I'm not having any regrets at the end of the day. So give 'em hell's bells is kind of what I live by.